Hey, it is hump day, last day of November, soon to be the first day of December. It is what it is, I'm not going to complain. The only thing I can say I'm grateful for to be the soon to be the first day of December is it's one more day closer to springtime. One more day closer for me to get my ducks in the row, everything set up, get ready for, putting stuff in the ground, covering up for the frost, everything. And then warmer weather. And then, of all things, on my birthday, when I turn 50 years old, I'm going to get a cell phone. That's been my thing. I always said when I turn 50, I'll get a cell phone. But I'm not going to get any cell phone. I'm going to be like my mom, or as I would say, my parents, and get the good old-fashioned flip phone, because I don't need all this high-tech modern technology. Mainly because I'm one of those people, well, when I had my truck, not what we have now, but when I had my truck a few years ago, I had a Galaxy DX99V CB/10 meter radio in that truck, and I could sit anywhere around town and talk a minimum of a 400-mile radius on my CB. And there's guys out in the county that had base stations, and I talked with them. We all talk all kinds of crazy shit. I talked to Skip out in California when the ionosphere was rolling just the right type with the barometric pressure and everything else. I could get on Skip. I could talk to California like I'm talking to my camera sitting right here. And they could hear me crystal clear, and I could hear them crystal clear. For years, I had a CB in my truck. But I had to sell my truck. And since then, my CB got fucked up. And of course, I still have my antenna, but I don't have a vehicle to put it in. I don't have a CB like I was wanting. I did find a Galaxy DX 954? Something like that. It's a 10 meter kind of radio. I did find one of them I'm kind of debating on. But at the same time, I want a base station. A Galaxy, I think it's a Galaxy 9500, something like, I don't know, it's a big ass radio. Or I want the Night Ranger. I can't remember the numbers for it either. But either a Night Ranger or a big ass Galaxy base station. Of course, I have to get me another Connex tower and everything else, because I traded my Connex tower to a friend of mine some years ago on a trade that I thought was we were both gonna be happy with, but come to find out, yeah, I got bent over the tower with no lube, and yeah, I got screwed in the process. And what are you gonna do? But if I was to done it to them, oh man, I would never heard the end of it. But that's how it goes around here. That's how life is. Your friends, some of your friends will, make up for the difference, and the other friends will be like, well, we traded, and then, of course, if you did it to them like that, you'd be hearing about it for 20 years, of them bitching, whining, crying, boo, and everything else, because how you screwed them on this certain deal. But it is what it is. I'm getting my tea real quick. And this is no shit, no lie. We go through probably easy, I'm saying easy, 10 gallons of tea a week. And that is bare minimum. Sometimes we'll go through 4 gallons of tea in a day. But yeah, we drank a lot of tea in this house. Some sweet, some non-sweet. But in the non-sweet tea, I have a lot of lemon, so it makes up the difference. Tell you what, the best flavored water in the world right there. Now, I've made 7 videos, and every time I've made 7 videos, I've gotten off track, I've lost thought process, what I was talking about, delete, start over, delete, start over, delete, start over, and I couldn't tell you how many this makes. It might be like my 10th or 12th video, trying to make a video tonight. I don't know how to edit videos on YouTube, like where you cut shit out, put stuff together. I don't know how to do that, so my thing is, if I screw up, turn off the camera, flip it over, delete it, start back over from the ground zero, and here we are. So, with that being said, the pros of wintertime for me is I sit in the house, I watch a lot of TV, like my westerns. I love westerns. I love black and white classic movies. I get on Facebook. I shoot the shit with people that are stuck in the house as well. Play a few games on Facebook, nothing major. Then I get on Webstaurant, which is a page that deals in like basically restaurant shit. Anything from boxes forms to gadgetries to cooking items, you know, you name it. I just look on, basically it's like window shopping for me on the computer, because I see things, I'm like, hey, this looks, you know, I could eventually use something like that, possibly down the road, but it's like window shopping. And then, other than that, of course, here recently, I typed in greenhouse frames, not greenhouses, greenhouse frames, and I found 3 that I'm looking at. And what I'm looking at is price range for the frames, nothing else, just the frames alone, are like somewhere between $3.5 to like $700, and that's just for the frames, nothing else. But I was like talking to a buddy of mine, and he's like, well, why don't you just do what I did? Go get this one for like $150 or $160. You know, you just stake it down the ground, but it's like one of those real flimsy things. Like the things look like my finger, like that big around. And I'm looking at pipes that are like golf ball to baseball size, that you put together with bolts, screws, and washers, and you ratchet it down nice and tight, and then you put your existing covering on it, and you know, do it that way. That's what I'm looking at. I don't want something that you know, early spring you get a good rain shower and the wind comes across, and then your little cheap greenhouse structure things being blown like the house on Wizard of Oz halfway across the neighborhood. And, you know, one of your neighbors down the roadways, you know, they're like, oh look, we get a free greenhouse. You know, no, I don't want that cheap shit. I want something that when I put together and I use a little bit of concrete or an anchor brace, it's going to be where I put it at, and you know, unless it's a massive act of God, it's not going nowhere. That's what I want. But I got to make sure that I take my happy ass out there in the next few days, and I got to measure it and make sure the lengths that I'm looking at, which is a 12, 18, or 20 foot long greenhouse, will fit where I'm wanting to put it at. And this is going to come into the con side, which the con side is, with it being cold outside, I don't like being cold. Now, before I was diabetic and I was nice and fat, and you know, this shirt here, I mean, look at this. Look how much gap I got right here. This shirt 2 years ago was skin tight on my ass. I mean, this, when I was fat, it looked like this on me. But now, look at this. Look how much, I can put another arm, probably 2 arms through this sleeve. This is like a 3X shirt. This thing was tight on me. Now it looks like I'm wearing a muumuu. or a dress. And yeah, I've lost that much weight. So now, even being inside the house, that's why a lot of my videos, you'll see me with this cap on my head, or one like it. I'm cold a lot of the time because I've lost so much weight. I'm like a skinny person. I freeze. Now, that is the con side of wintertime for me now. Is a lot of times, even in the house, I'm wearing 2 or 3 layers of clothing because I'm cold. And then having arthropia in my feet and my hands doesn't help matters none whatsoever, because a long time ago when I was growing up, if my feet were cold, I was cold. Well, my feet stay cold 24/7. So I've kind of balanced that part of it out, but the worst part about it is in the summertime when everything's nice and hot, you know, I think it feels great. I love it until I go in the bedroom and the wife has the window unit and the bedroom window cranked on full blast where there's polar bears and penguins running through the bedroom. And a lot of times that's why I slept outside. Well, slept outside. I slept out on the couch in the living room because it was, I don't want to say hot, but it definitely wasn't as cool as what the bedroom was. And it's comical because now, since it's winter time, anytime I take my sweet little hands and I place them on the wife, you know, yeah, she shoots across the bed or she hits the ceiling because my hands are so cold that, you know, she's like, what the hell? Yeah. Paybacks and comments are great for me, especially in wintertime. But there's a lot of things in winter I don't want to say I want to complain about it, because complaining really doesn't do any good. But there's a lot of cons the older I get in wintertime than it was, say, like when I was in my teens and my 20s. But I guess that's part of growing old and everything else. I can remember my grandparents complaining when it got below 65 degrees how they hated the weather. And I just kind of rolled my eyes. Now that I'm pushing 50 with all the problems that I have, arthritis and everything else, I'm like, oh, I understand your pain. I understand your issues. Oh, do I ever understand now? But, you know, when you're young and stupid, you know, you don't think about it. It's kind of like in this area, out that area, whatever. Now, one of the other things I want to touch base on, which there's no prevalence on this whatsoever, it's just something that I saw that I was laughing about, which I know I should not be laughing. There was a certain individual on YouTube, made a couple of videos ago, and they had one of the people in their comments basically call them a liar. And she went off like a chihuahua that was jacked up on caffeine and snorted 2 lines of coke, and she was just going off. And I was sitting, and I wasn't like laughing, but inside my head I was rolling on the floor. And my first initial thing was to get online and be the little troll and type in some smart ass little comment like I used to do a long time ago to people on certain games and on Facebook and everything else. But I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to do it. I want to so bad, but I'm not going to do it, because those are the people. I don't want to use the word those are the people, but they are basically reacting to what the person that initiated the comment wanted them to do, because they grabbed their string and they tugged it enough times or hard enough to where they reacted to the way the person, as I call the CB Rambos or the keyboard Rambos, typing in their little smart ass little replies to somebody, they reacted upon their request to act like an idiot. And it worked out fine. Now, I know that what I'm about to say will probably offend a few people. It is what it is. A long time ago, I saw this. I can't remember if I saw it on Facebook or I heard it as a joke when I was driving over the road. But the joke of it is how do you set off a woman snapping a finger? And the reply of it is you light that fuse on the tampon and let it go off. There you go. So, some of y'all are going to laugh about it. Some of y'all are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. But, I don't care, I am who I am. I know tons of dirty jokes. I've been refraining from using certain words and definitions of ways I would express myself on this video because I don't want to go full-blown sailor. I don't want to go full-blown drag racer. I don't want to go full-blown biker. But, I'm trying to be PG-13 in a rated R movie. It is what it is. So, but all I can say is everybody responds to different things different ways. Now when I was young, when I was in school, somebody would say something smart assy to me and I'd be like the first one to, I'm gonna pound the shit out of your ass. And of course after numerous ass kickings and everything else through my teenage years and everything else, when I got my 20s, there were still a lot of people like, oh, let's fight. I was just like, it's whatever, it ain't worth my time. What are you gonna prove? Possibly that you can kick somebody's ass in a few rounds or a few hits or swings. You're not gonna solve anything because no matter if they kick your ass or you kick their ass, there's still gonna be a grudge magnet in between you two, and it ain't gonna solve nothing. I just found it easier to walk away from it and be like, whatever, I don't care. And of course I've been called a coward and a chicken and this and that, but like I told people all the time, I use my hands for working and driving. If I get in a fight and I bust my knuckles up and I can't use my hands, I can't drive a truck and I can't ratchet down a load, how am I supposed to make any money? It is what it is. But I've been called all kinds of things. I don't care, And probably truthfully and honestly, half of it's probably true. When I was growing up, I don't want to say I was a thug, because I wasn't a thug. I was a shit ass. I was just deplorable. Lazy in some ways. You name it. I have a registered form of some kind of disgruntled kind of person somewhere in the county that can say all kinds of things, and probably half of it's true. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't the best person growing up. I wasn't. I was baptized at 12 or 13, and I was doing good for a while. And then I got mixed up with the wrong crowd and I ran with them up until I was probably about 26, 27. And then I basically woke up one day and I was like, hey, I'm screwed up so much and I've done so much bad shit that I need to make amends. I need to, turn over the new leaf, so to say, take the high road, make amends for all the bad shit I've done. And I'm a high believer in karma, and I actually believe the reason why I had my accident in that tractor trailer wasn't because it was a judgment error on whoever's part. I believe it was a form of karma that had came back to kick me in the ass because of something that I had done in my past, and that's what I believe. And so since that day of the accident, I've done a lot of things to make up, kind of like the TV show My Name is Earl. Kind of like that, I've been doing things to make up the difference for a lot of the bad that I did, not knowing. I mean, I knew I was doing bad, but at the time of not really understanding the negativity that I was putting off. And so now I'm trying to revert and do, like, not so much good deeds, so to say. I am, but I'm not. But I'm, just trying to make up for the amends of all the bad or negativity that I have created or done. And like I said, I wanted to so bad on that video. That woman was complaining about somebody, pulling her strings and everything else. I want to get out on that computer and type in a few smart ass little smug comments, but I was like, no, because if I do, the only thing I'm going to do is throw gas on the fire and have her ramming rod and everything else. And just for 30 seconds of, and my enjoyment to piss somebody off, and to hear about it for God knows how long afterwards of her making a video about how somebody made her butt hurt, and instead of just letting it roll off the back like water does, we gotta make a video and be, and yeah, it ain't worth my time. So cheers. And being a smart ass saying cheers, I watched France get their asses kicked in soccer this afternoon. Oh, I wanted to chime in. There's somebody that I know that's from France, and I wanted to beat the smart ass and be like, hey man, you lost by 1 point. Your country sucks so bad. I'm surprised that they didn't throw the white flag up and surrender halfway through the game. But I think truthfully, and I know I'm probably going to get my ass handed to me on this one. I think soccer is more boring than playing golf. And I know some of y'all be like, oh my God, you don't play golf? You think golf is bad? Golf is worse than tennis. 3 sports. This is the best way to torture my ass in the afterlife, if there is punishment in, like, for hell-wise, or even heaven, is make me watch those 3 sports for eternity. That would be like my ultimate punishment: watching golf, tennis, and soccer. The worst thing in the world you can do to me. Those 3 sports. The most boringest, I don't see the point in it, But it is what it is, what I enjoy, sitting my ass in a boat, fishing. I don't care, if I'm getting panfish. I don't care if I'm getting little minnows. I don't care, truthfully and honestly, when I used to go fishing all the time, it wasn't because, oh, I want to get my fish mounted and stuck on the wall. It's because when we went fishing, it's because we were filleting the fish and soaking them and putting them in bags and freezing them in the freezer for later down the road when, like in wintertime. Or going into the woods in late August, early September, squirrel hunting. Because fried squirrel dumplings, oh my God, you can't get any better than that. Or freeze them and then later on cook them up and make like fried squirrel with some potatoes and onions. Perfect. But to me, that's not a sport. That's relaxing. I know some of y'all say, well, golf's relaxing, soccer's relaxing. No, it's because you're running around kicking some stupid ball around, or you're standing in a court with a paddle and you're smacking a ball around, or you're holding a stick smacking a ball down range. That's not sport. I mean, they say it is, but to me it's not a sport. Hunting and fishing is not a sport. It's a form of putting food on the table. But I know some of y'all are going to say, well, that's a sport. No. If you get real creative, there's other ways you can go fishing, which I know that when I say this, One of you jackasses are going to go do it, and probably get in trouble for it, but I'm going to tell you anyway. There's a plant, it's a weed, that grows around a lot of parts of the U.S. It's called mullein. Or some people call it Indian tobacco, lamb's ear, there's different names for it. But it has a great big broad leaf, like a tobacco leaf. It's real fuzzy. And then I think it's like a 3-year-old plant or a 4-year-old plant. There's a stalk like a yucca that grows up in the middle of it. And it has like pink or yellow flowers, or pink and yellow. I can't remember exactly what the flower colors are, but if you Google it, you can see it for yourself. And when the flowers are there on that stalk, you wait till the flowers fall off, because in that big old tall stem is full of seeds. Well, you break open that thing, cut it off, you let it dry out real good, take the seeds out, get you a mortar and pestle. Don't crack it to a powder, just crack the seeds somewhat. Put them in a container when you go out in the woods, and make sure there's nobody around, definitely no game warden around. And you take a handful of them seeds and you throw it in the water. Water that's not fast moving or moving, just kind of like still, calm water. Throw them seeds in that water and wait a few minutes. And chances are, any fish that are within that area that you threw them seeds in, within a few minutes you'll start seeing fish floating up top of the water. Get your go strain net or seine net, scoop them sons of bitches up, boom, put them on a stringer. And, you know, as long as they're legal length, with whatever area you're in, because every state's different upon fishing. But what I just told you is illegal in all 48 states of the Union. So, but if you want a quick, easy, cheap way of fishing, there you go. And the next other cheapest way of doing that is making yourself a explosive device, which falls under domestic terrorism. And you light that son of a bitch, or you put your charge into it and throw it in the water with a good sinker on it and just blast the shit out of the water and catch all the fish that way, which is highly illegal because making the device falls under domestic terrorism. But, you know, if you're willing to take the chance and go the extra mile, more power to you. What this country was originally based upon, unlike all the bullshit pussies that run it now, that, you know, basically anything that they feel is a threat or makes them butthurt or hurts their feelings, let's throw the red flag laws up and, you know, let's do this and do that, and, you know, yeah. What a great country we started out with, and it's gone to a pile of shit as of right now. I know some of y'all agree with me, and some of y'all are going to disagree with me, but, you know, that's the whole point of being in America. Everybody's not the same. Everybody doesn't have the same beliefs. Thank God nobody dresses the same. And we are allowed one thing, and that is to disagree with anything and everything at any given time, along with the freedom of speech, until they take that away from us too. But what are we going to do? And I have a feeling this is probably the 26 to a 36 minute video, so I'm going to shut my ass up, turn off my camera, go in there and download this to my computer and upload it, hopefully before December 1st. So until then, y'all have a great night. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, I don't mind. I'm not begging for your subscriptions. But if you choose to subscribe, the option's there. So, until then, I'll catch y'all later.